friend, my friend. Today we're going to be doing song charting. Now, for this concept, we're going to take the idea of taking any random song. I just happened to write a whole bunch of songs last year, using them as examples, and maybe throw one of these into a songbook and have it published. Anyway, today's songwriting, I hope I write big enough for us to see, is 1111. That's the name of the song, not the time signature. Actually, it wouldn't be a time signature, would it? Anywho, if you have questions about what we're doing, please put them down in the comment section. As always, we're going to go take a gander and listen to the song. I'm not really sure which one I put up. I've got two versions of this one. One's in bossa nova and one is just straight form swing or something. However, the chords are changed in both of them. So I'm going to look at which one's online, throw it out there, listen to it. If you like it, thumbs up, ask questions, and as always, have fun. Charts. There you go. Huh. Interesting. Compelling stuff, huh? So, what we're going to do is we're going to take this all the way over the board. We're going to make sure that everything that we're doing makes sense. And we're going to show it through the eyes of, you betcha, the circle fifths and a little bit of music. So, on this side of the board, let's write out what key we're in. This one apparently is, I don't know why I did this, but it's all over the place. If you're watching this and you notice this, the idea that we're playing through these notes and these tones makes two observations. One, these chords aren't diatonically all from the same key, which means we're going to do some finagling. Here we have, basically, I'm centering this around the key of A major, just because when I look through all of the chords diatonically, the majority of them come from the scale of A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, and G sharp. What we mean is the sonority, or the major and minors of each one of these, they tend to fall one way or the other and pull towards the dominant, that 5. So, this one's all over the place. I noticed stuff about the song I really do not like, but that's the beauty about writing a lot of music. The concept sticks. You take key parts from it. I don't remember when I wrote this one. However, this one's in 11. Very weird. And I chose to write it with different sections of having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, instead of just writing something that has something in 6/4 or 6/8, what is it, 6/4, and then has a measure, and then goes to another measure that might be 5/4 right here, you can actually take this whole thing and just put it in 11. You know, I would like to see an 11/8 or 11/4. 1, 2. I think it's easier to count eighth notes. The same thing can be done by putting both of these notes inside that measure, and then they would equally share. So the first thing we would have here with that 5/4 was a G sharp diminished and a B with a flat 6. Interesting. So G sharp dim. And then we have a B with a flat 6. Very interesting. Weird chord, eh? Let's take a gander. That's groovy. And, you know, this one's coming up with the A dim. If we put a G in the bass here, we're going to be, of course, getting different chords. A flat diminished, of course, is G sharp. By flattening the 3rd and flattening the 6th. Adding extensions like a 7, that's kind of cool. Dim 7, you could have dim with an E, or what does this turn it into? It turns it into like an E7. The only thing I did like the part where to C, and then it did this, what we were talking about, the B minor, and then having this chord right here, that B minor with that 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 6. We always view all of music through the eyes of the major, meaning if we're going to play up a scale note hitting B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, this is going to be a sharpened 6, which is our minor 7, or major 7th. No, minor 7th, we're in the key B. Major 7th, minor 7th, major 6, minor 6. So when we take a B minor and we add that 6 there, it becomes a 6 chord, but we're not using it traditional, like using it with that actual note that makes it feel like a... That would be a very, very cool chord too. So I just didn't like the A to the A augmented. What we're showing here is you can put these two together, and it don't make no never mind. They both are the same type of measure here. So if you take one and you're looking at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, that would be 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. With this, you just need to know how to split the two measures. It depends on the genre, which is why this one I wrote it in 11, so it's easier for a drummer to read in case they want to do some sort of fills or notation in between those two very important types of beats. Falls onto this. We're not going to get too much into it, but most music, actually all music, when it's divided into different segments, polyrhythms, polytones, is divided by 2 and 3. So you have duplets or tuplets, tuplets or duplets. And these two inspire us to have something which keeps over a tone and then divide that, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. These types of polyrhythms help with the left and right hand on any different instrument on your fingerboard. However, visualizing them is another thing. That's what that's about. And I hope you can read this. I'm going to try to write a little darker, and I wish that light was Uda here, but what are you going to do? L'chaim. All right. So, if you're following along, this is going to be another one. We're going to be putting up our chord chart here, and we're going to be talking about this song. The song starts off in the G sharp diminished. However, we are not in the key of G. We are in the key of A. At least we're writing it through there. C major has no sharps and flats. When we go to G, we're counting over 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When we count 5 notes away, we get C, D, E, F, and then G. Therefore, if we keep that process up, we find ourselves layering out all the chords that have sharps. This is super vitally important for every single song that you do. It's also super vitally important to understand all the notes and your key signatures and your families. This is what is considered the foundation of music. So, knowing C major has no sharps and no flats, and that the 3 chords in C major that are major are C, the 1, F, the 4, and G, the 5. When you go to the next grouping of 3, it becomes the minors. Minor second, minor third, and then you would have, back to the beginning here, you would have your minor 6. After that, the last one that's in a grouping of 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, would be the diminished. So this one happens to be in the key of A. We're going to write this one out with our flats too. When you go this way, the circle of fifths is done through the eyes of perfect fifths. This other side is done with perfect fourths. So when we count, like if we went this way, we'd say C, D, E, F. F, G, A, B flat. B flat, C, D, E flat. E flat, F, G, A flat. A flat goes to D flat. D flat, as you music geniuses know out there, is the same as C sharp. Same as G flat and C flat. They are both enharmonic equivalences. Meaning, when we play that there on this piano, this note of C sharp is exactly a C sharp and a D flat. Meaning, you get the same note, but we call it differently in different keys because we don't want to repeat things twice. I wouldn't say that in the key signature of A major, we would have A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, A flat, A. 1, what happened to G? 2, why would I say A twice? Doesn't make sense. So, when we're looking for our key signature, we would know that this is going to be our 1, our 4, and our 5. So I'm going to block these off. 1, 4, 5. And then I'm going to throw them in here. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now this is just writing out the 7 chords in a diatonic scale, which is just basically meaning we're going to write A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and then we're going to associate all of our sharps and flats. The key of A, if we read it from the eyes of C has none, G has 1, D has 2, and A has 3. Well, the 1 flat that's in the key of F is B flat. You can always tell those are super simple and easy. When you go to B flat has 2 flats. B flat and E flat. E flat has 3. B flat, E flat, A flat. When you keep going, you just add the flats. Most people teach from the flats. I don't teach from the flats. I like to teach from the sharps. When we go to the 1 sharp in the key of G is F sharp. So when you say this whole thing, you say G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. This is how I remember it. Also, I associate the tones with it. So when I hear G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, 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 A, B, C, D, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, 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 E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp. If you could get away from playing your instrument, sing it, and then go back to your instrument, see if you're in tune, it really helps to get on those pitches. Not go and scoop up to them, but actually just try to center your voice on that. And if you're not a singer, try it anyways. It really helps out in the long run. All right, our next 3 that we're going to see here, what do we have in the key of A? A goes to a B minor. This is our minor second. Our 6 is right here, and then our 3 is right here, meaning that we're going to have A flat as our diminished. But as I just said, we don't say A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, and then A flat. A flat is the same thing as G sharp. So it is super positive to keep going with your circle of fifths. If you go G, A, B, C, D, well, yeah, when you get here, D sharp is E flat. D, E, F, G, A sharp is B flat, so on and so forth. And I know this looks muddied up, but the idea is this thing-a-ding is ingrained into my brain. I have drawn it so many times. I've explained it so many times. I've given reference to it. I could show how to find relative major and minor on it instantly. I know from writing this and from doing it on, 13, 14 different instruments, what these correlations are, these intervals that we see, how to use different memorization tools besides mnemonics. I mean, I don't teach mnemonics. Every good boy does fine. All cows eat grass. Every drug dealer, blah, 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 blah. It's a lot of information for music. Just to know what a tritone is, or how a Napoleonic major mode sounds like, or just what the key characteristics of the mode Lydian is. It starts with simple facts that you associate with others. You might not know that Lydian has a sharpened 4. That's what makes Lydian Lydian. So when you have a Lydian flat 9 or something along those lines, you can hear how playing something like could have that flat 9 right here. So that makes that Lydian mode a little different, doesn't it? With that D flat or the C sharp. Fun. Anywho, when going through here, we want to pick our key. It's in the key of A. I'm going to get rid of this monstrosity so you can do it on your own. Sorry, I forgot to fill in those sharps. When we're looking at key signatures, if you're reading the treble clef, it would have a sharp on the F, sharp on the C, and a sharp on the G. All of your sharps and flats are always layered out in the same way. So, what do I have to say? Music ain't easy. You got to put time into it. You have to have patience, and you have to go slow. That's all music is. If you spend 5 minutes a day doing what I just did, good God, you're going to know all this stuff. All right, so our first one, if we associated the G sharp, we would have a 7 chord. But our 7 chord is going to be rocking out here in 6/4. Here, I need a new pen because this one's garbage. Wonderful. So 6/4, I'm going to start off our bar. This is going to be the A section, meaning right when the song starts. Beautiful. We've got our first bar. Now, rather than write this with the G sharp here, I'm going to write it with this Roman numeral. So if I change keys, we don't have to rewrite this monstrosity. We can just put it down into chords. Now, usually I go pretty slow. This time I'm just going to write out the whole song. That's how I'm going to feel like we're going to go through. This song is too long of a song to explain in this kind of concept about what we would like to do for a melody, but the reason why this one's so long, it's a practice for playing 11 and counting 11. A lot of songs are not in 11. Therefore, when you write something in 11, you try to keep it simple. If I was going to rearrange this song with different chords, I would absolutely get rid of that A augmented. I would get rid of a lot of these things because, sometimes you get bored with chords. At least I do. So I'm going to put this one. We have our 7 chord here. Boomity boom. It's not a diminished 7. It's just straight form, so we're going to keep it there. Our next measure would have 5/4, so I'm going to put a split right here. Whenever you have new time signature or new key signature split, you put a double bar. So hypothetically, this chart's written wrong on the one I just showed you. You would probably want to put the double bar in between. However, I like to count this in 11, so the idea is you don't even have to do that. You can do it a little differently. This one has a minor 2, but then we're playing a flat 6. So we're going to put our 2 chord there and then put a flat 6 right here. It's going to allow me to know I'm playing the B minor, and then I'm going to make that 6th scale position not a major 6th, but a minor 6th. The next note, 6/4. This whole thing is going to go to A right here. The next chord we're going to put up here is also in 5/4. So again, going to keep doing this. And as I said, this reoccurring theme here goes to the A augmented. Not really tied to that. However, if I was rewriting this, I probably would do it a different way. Again, this is alternating, so 6/4. All of these are going to be doubled. If it looks a little confusing, that's because it really freaking is. Is that right? Yeah, I guess. That's going to be the end of here, and I do believe there's a repeat, so I'm just going to throw it in there. Nice. Let's see here. That repeat lasts for 8 times, so I'm going to put that right here just so I know. At the end and the beginning of these, if we didn't have it, I would have this double bar anyways at the end of this phrasing. And the whole thing changes here. It shifts to the F sharp minor, so that's the 6th chord, as we can see. We're going to put our lowercase 6 there. VI, 5 plus 1 equals 6. And this one is the 7. So we're going to play that as a dominant. And if you had a minor major, it would make this like kind of James Bondsy chord. Our 5/4 chord here is going to be our A. Oh, look at me going back and forth. How funny. So here, the A is the 1. We put our 1 here and then 1 augmented, our sign for that. Here again, we've got a 1 aug, which is our A with an augmented. And then our A is a sus here. So we're going to put a 1 in sus. And then our next chord is just going to go to the 1. So there's a lot of tonicified or primes around here. Prime, prime augmented, prime sus, prime. So it's not really moving a lot. So not a big fan of that either. All right, this is the next one that we're going to do here. We're going to go to the B section. Oh no, there's one more layer to this. Actually, this is written wrong. This should be the B section. So we're going to name it as such. Double bubble ba right here. It's a D, E, D, E, and it repeats itself how many times? Just twice. Well, that's our 4, 5, 4, 5. So I'm going to put a 4 and then a 5. And then I'm going to put this marking, which means to repeat the first thing that we just did there so I don't have to write it twice. I'm going to put a bar here and I'm going to put our 2 double dots, meaning we're going to repeat this whole section twice. Notice up here we put it 2 semicolons and then we put our 8 times to make sure we do this 8 times. We don't do this 2 times then add 8. This just covers all that. When you only see this with no marking down here, you just do it twice. That's what a repeat is. Anytime you see a repeat, 1, 2. All right. The next section, although it's called B in the tab or in the chart that I put out there and played, this is actually the C section now. We are doing a minor third here. The minor third is a C sharp. So what we'd like to do is make this a 9. So that's pretty cool. We got a 9 chord. Now, chord construction that we talked about in a couple of these other different lesson exercises would talk about everything's viewed through the major. So if you can make a C major chord and you can turn that C major into a C minor chord, whenever you take the 9 of the chord, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, and more exactly 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and 1. Well, our next note would be the 9. So if we were just going to add that 9, it would be called a C minor add 9 or a C major add 9 or add 2 in the case of some programs. Either way you do this, you're doing the same thing. You're just adding on that note. So whenever you have something like a C minor or a C major and you have a 9 and it does not say add, you must include the minor 7th. Everything's viewed through the eyes of C, so we would have C, D, E, F, G, A, B would be our major 7th. Dissonance, still a little bit of dissonance, but easier to see as a C dominant 7. It has the E diminished and the C major. Well, these two triads laid over the top of each other make up the E dominant 7. So the minor would have the same thing, E minor 7. When you go to the 9 here and add it, if you have all these notes done, that makes the chord of a C minor 9. So just simply taking all these notes and moving them up, so you're playing a C sharp minor or a D flat minor, and then you're seeing these notes as having your minor chord. You would need to have this 7th in here and then your 9. So a C sharp minor 9er, very, very fun for the fingers. Remember, this shape is a perfect 4th, and it feels like your A major or your B major. Fun. So chord construction is really, really hard. The last video that I did here on the channel that's in the live section is just called Ask a Wago from last week. We do it on Tuesdays. And at this point, if you haven't checked out the channel, please go do that now. You can come back and watch this if you want. If you are here and you're watching this and you want to ask questions about what we're doing, we're just writing out a chart so you can become more proficient at writing out your own music. What we cover in these series and going to cover in these series are song explanations, how to see the 7 notes that are inside the scale, put some rhyme and reason to it, and start writing it out in Roman numerals. So in case you didn't want to play it in the key of blah, you can change it to the key of blah. Also, this is also a great mechanism to start transposing for other instruments. So if you are a piano player and you're playing in concert pitch, which is C, it would make sense to know how to write for B flat and E flat if you wanted a horn section like woodwinds. I digress. We're going to go to that C sharp minor. We got our 3 as a 9 there. We're going to be repeating this, but not after we put 2 notes in a measure. which means we're going to keep the same measure marker here, but we're going to put 2 beats and they're going to split the time. Now, what's interesting about this is this B section does a quick 4/4, meaning it goes to common time. The C section right here, which is called B, goes back to our 6/4 and then switches in between these. So this whole thing that would have been there is going to stay in 6/4, and now it's going to go to the F sharp. So a 6 chord is going to be on the 5/4 section. 5/4, double bar. This is going to be our 6 chord, and as I see it, it's going to be a 6 chord written with a dominant. After that, we're going to have another change back here. 6/4, 5/4. And then after the F sharp was the F sharp, and is doing a 6 chord now. So, ooh, how fun. Same thing, it's moving. F sharp minor 7, F sharp minor 6. We're going to go to the 5/4 section here. And then that's going to give us just our F sharp. So we're going to keep it in root position would be the easiest. And then that ends this section. All right. The next section is going to do a repeat of the A section. So even though it's written in the chart, I'm going to save some time and just do this. We're going to do D, C, Al, coda. Coda, go all the way to the top right here. Direct to the coda. So what happens is DC a la coda, you're going from the top, the cabo, to the bottom, which means if you go up to the top and you go through, you're just taking it like a little passageway. This is a quick way to go all the way back up here. Now, since I'm not going to be going through the whole thing, what I want to do is take this DCL coda, and I want to put a coda at the end of this phrasing so it knows to go back in. So at the end of this, I could put a coda right here, and it would play this chord, and then it would take me to the new chord. So the question is, in the 4/4 segment, is this D the same note as a G sharp? Because that's what it needs to go back to do the outro. And the answer is no. So here, what I would want to do is do this all the way through here and change this to DCL second ending. By doing this, I'm still going up to the top here and repeating this, but when I mark this section as the 1, the ending of the 1 here, you could even put the 1 up here. It doesn't matter really where you put it as far as it jumps through because you know where it's going. The only reason when it would change is if you have 2 different endings for this first part. You absolutely could put a 2 here, and the first time you go through it, you would have the 1 chord. You could go through it again and put a 1 dominant as a dominant, secondary dominant moving chord. We just chose not to do that. Anyway, if we put it there and then we put this right here, going through here, put a 2 right here, what we just did was we went from this all the way up to the top, repeated all this, and then we went from here all the way down here and acted like that was what we just did. So the next thing that we do, this D part, would not have any weird chords. We wouldn't have to hear a D major right before we went into our ending phrase, which is our almost same as the outro, just now it has a little pizzazz. Let's put up our double bubble bar. This one's going to 4/4 and ends kind of odd because the song's in 11. And then we've got our 7 chord, our G sharp diminished, and then we're going to repeat that. And because this is such a weird repeat, I'm going to put brackets on both sides so we know that it's 1, 2, 3, 4. The next measure also has repeats, but we're going to do these together and mark them as such. Real quick movement from this G sharp diminished, and then it's going to go to a G natural. So what we're doing is using the 7 chord, but we're not using it as a major 7th. We're using it as a minor 7th, which means we need to put a flat 7 and then as a uppercase Roman numeral. That uppercase Roman numeral at the bottom there is going to allow us to see that as being a G sharp diminished to a G major, and then moving up to a G sharp diminished again. So a real quick flare. You know what it sounds like on the piano. Yeah. Let's see, it's in 4/4. We would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Since this has that full bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where we were talking about that phrasing. And we held out that G sharp diminished in the beginning there. You don't have to. You can put it on the and a 1 if you want it. You can do something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Just depends on how you really want to go about the rhythm there. For me, it comes down to what melody notes we're playing over the top of there, or what instrumentation I've written for that. Does it want to flow or does it want to be stagnant? And then, again, down here I just got a little lazy. I don't want to repeat. I don't want to have to do this again. And I might have made an oopsie here, but I'm going to repeat this right here. And then we're going to end the song right there. And there does seem to be a repeat here, but there's no bar here. Meaning it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. It's going to kind of feel weird because it skips there. Now, all in all, what does that do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 32 measures and then jumps back and does it again. Silly, weird, awesome. Okay, so this takes us through the whole thing, and the idea behind this and what I want to leave us on here. Song took a little longer than I thought. The chords that we're using don't necessarily have to be the ones we are always going to be choosing. So, as we were just saying, this one has this G sharp and then a B minor 6. For this song, I would probably not hear it with the jazz bossa nova. I would probably hear it with more of like a drawn out probably a little bit slower, and the instrumentation over the top of it, use those chords to my advantage, you know, like something along the lines though. So I would have the instrumentation for this probably by a bass player just knocking out. Something along those lines, and then I would have the modal structures built over the top. So maybe a fun thing to do is talk about just that, what I would try to do for the actual melody over the top. This right here is a great way to write the chords out, and just because we wrote it out here, let me move it up so in case you are looking at this in the future, you could take a gander at these chords. And let me go to the split and give a little bit more up top. I hope that's not too small. Let me just try that first chord mechanism right up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to modulate this from the key of A, and we're going to go, let's say, to the key of C. No sharps, no flats. Because if we do this, what happens is we're going to change all of the chords, and it's going to feel like still the same thing as the diminished will still be the diminished. Right? But now it's not in the key of A for our resolution, it's in the key of C. So our B diminished will go to our C. So if we had something like that B dim, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I like it a lot more in the key of C. It's so much easier to play. My brain kind of struggled to hear this D minor and then decide whether we were going to have this note, the B being the minor 6, or having this note, which ipso facto, the B is the 6, so we have to have a B flat being in there. Well, that D minor 6 feels like a B flat major. So the idea, B flat major 7 to be exact. So the idea is you get really in tune with what chords feel good with other ones. 7 chords, 6 chords, they're relatable. Having a minor second and a major second inside something, super relatable to the chord and the key signature. So one thing that we do on Tuesdays, this channel, I try to get through the concept of major, minors, parallels, fifths, how to do sight reading, notation, how to do rhythms. There's a chock full of information already on this channel. So if you got nothing to do and you're looking to expand your vocabulary, check out some of these. If you dig the channel, please subscribe, put something cool in the comment section. And as always, I love to take requests. It helps me, one, as a facilitator of education, and two, just to be able to wrap my brain around new music that I haven't heard yet. So no matter what that is, send it on my way. Check out the channels, check out all the ditties, and if you're just brand new to the channel, ask questions. Also, there's a plethora of information out there by many people like myself. Go out there and find those ask questions. It's not really what I say. It's not what somebody else says. It's the amalgamation of all this information. Whether if you're learning something over across the pond in Britain and somebody's saying semitone or quaver or minim. The idea is if you know a bunch of different terminology for music, it's not going to change the way that you do anything in the beginning, but it's everything. Having tools in your tool bag or vocabulary bag to understand what a tuplet is, or understand how to have subdivisions of knowing what genres are, helps to actually do different types of music. So if you're stuck or you're pigeonholed with having just majors or minors and you find yourself wanting to write music and you're wanting to put it out on paper but you do not know how, this on Mondays is a great way to just take random songs, learn how to actually put them through the idea of 7 chords, and then put that information into your pocket so you can use it whenever you're writing your own. Again, the song was a little convoluted. However, these ideas are the things that keep us going. For me, writing a song that I could play in such weird chords as B flat major gives me the ability then to see how playing the same thing in the eyes of C major gives us that A minor 7, which was a lot more gratifying than playing an F sharp minor 7, right? So a lot of the time what we're hearing when we're writing stuff is our ears are used to hearing different chords and keys together. Sometimes getting away from that, like with that B diminished, and then the B flat major, then the B diminished. Well, this is a real cool opportunity to examine some modes, maybe some pentatonic scales, maybe going through some arpeggiated things, would be fun as well. So one thing always leads to another, and I hope this video and all the other videos on this channel help you to wrap your brain around a couple key concepts in music. Remember, music theory is not that hard. You just got to practice at it, keep going at it. I would say the best thing you could do is teach yourself that circle of fifths and then ask questions from anybody that's out there that is willing to take the time to help you. And remember, not everybody's right. I'm not right about everything. But if I don't know the answer, if I don't know how to derive the answer from what I've attained as far as my musical journey, I will find somebody that can help me, and I will lead you to that right answer. Anyway, thank you for being here. If you dig it, subscribe, put something cool in the comment section. I do hope to see you on Tuesdays, 9 to 10 Hawaiian Standard Time. And then next year, look forward to the emergence of our interview series again. This year, instead of just interviewing a couple key players that are either local musicians or abroad, doing an interview series and seeing where they are in a year from now, the first half of this year, we're going to be doing an interview series with people who have struggled and struggled and struggled to make it. Many people have been playing music their whole life. They've been endorsed. They get instruments. They get strings. They have shirts. They're a part of a system which, some of these companies help to endorse them. Thusly, that individual endorses products that they use. Personally, with my saxophone gear, I would endorse Rico. Absolutely. I've been buying their stuff since I was 19. As far as strings go, GHS, Slinkies, stuff like that, love to do it. So we're going to be interviewing people who have gone through the process to do this, or people who had the ins and outs on how to make it, what to do as far as like making your own music, getting it officially done, copywriting it, putting it through GoDaddy or what was it? CD Baby, I think it is. Something along the lines of that. Making sure that you've got yourself registered either through the 2 or 3 services that are provided, and then getting on a distributor so your music actually gets out there to like Spotify and then the Google Playlist, stuff like that. I am on the precipice of doing this myself. Why not put this on the channel and show just one person's journey? I feel like my reality, not to go on a diatribe, but trying all different methodologies, meeting new people, playing new songs, playing gigs, going to bands, trying to make music, writing out charts. It's daunting, but the idea is if you love it, you will do it. So what I want to do is show the other side. Me personally, I've been a lighting rigger. I've done all sorts of events. I've thrown festivals. I've been able to be a part and observe people who have done it really well and then observe people who have done it really bad. I've thrown a couple that have gone either way, and what I've learned is nobody's perfect. So deep breaths, learning as much as you can, asking questions really gets you to the point. So if you're an aspiring musician and you want to check out some music theory stuff, it's on Tuesdays. Next year, we're going to be doing the interview series again, which we're going to be focusing on how do you get involved with companies that will promote you? How do you get your music basically out there on the platforms? And it really all starts from having a good product. So that's what Tuesday's about. Learn how to write this, get a vocabulary, and have fun with the music. Thank you for being here today. I hope that you come in next week and ask questions, and we'll see you soon. Aloha.